Alright guys, welcome to Doc's Comic Weekly Pickups. I think I butchered that somehow. Doc's Weekly Comic Pickups. Let's try that. And this is issue 62 of this particular YouTube channel. So we're going to start with Conan the Barbarian, issue 19 by Jim Zub with art by Doug Braithwaite. This was an absolutely beautiful book with the colors. It just told stories of Conan after losing Belit. And instead of wallowing in his sorrow, he just continues to move on. And that's what you get from Conan, is that you get a story of a man who always moves forward no matter what is going on seemingly in his life. So the death of Belit, the loss of more comrades, but this art by Doug Braithwaite is just amazing. He just keeps getting better and better with age. He's like a fine wine. He just ages very, very well. And like I said, the colors, you can't beat it. I mean, you just can't. You get all of this beautiful artwork. You get this story by Jim Zub that shows the resilience of Conan, which we already know that Conan is just a man that cannot be put down. Death and old age will eventually catch up with him. But as far as another man besting him in battle, almost impossible, especially when he was in his prime. So he fights pumas, he fights panthers, he fights alligators, he fights all these creatures, and all in the pursuit of reminding himself of who he is and why he continues to battle each and every day. And on top of that, this book was wrapped in an awesome Roberto De La Torre cover on the front. So what else can I say? If you're not reading this book, I don't know why. That's really all I got to say about that. All right. Next up for the greatest hits video is going to be a facsimile of Batman 613 by Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee, and Scott Williams, part of the original Hush series. So here's just a page or two to show you what Jim Lee was in his prime. We will talk more about this book along with the next one in the greatest hits series. This is Fantastic Four #3 facsimile, and this introduces you the new Fantastic Four colorful costumes and the Fantastic Car and the Baxter Building. So again, this is Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, and we will talk more about this book as well on Greatest Hits. All right, next up we have G.I. Joe issue #5 by Joshua Williamson, Tom Riley, Jordi Belair. This book, although a modern Energon Universe version of G.I. Joe, is just top-notch. Joshua Williamson is knocking it out of the park, and Tom Riley can't be beat for the artwork. You've got Clutch here, who's using these Energon weapons against Destro's forces. You've got Duke and Baroness and everybody escaping from the clutches of Destro. You have so much fun. I mean, it's almost like watching an episode of the cartoon. It's so much fun. And at the end, Cobra Commander meets a character that he didn't expect to see at this point in the game. So, I'm sorry guys, this is going to be kind of a rapid fire episode today. But this book, again, if you're not reading it, I don't know why. If you grew up in the 80s and you love G.I. Joe as much as I do, along with Transformers and some of the other Energon properties, then pick this book up now. All right, next up you have the Power Fantasy, and Robbie on Pop Culture Philosophers generally says that saga do what saga do. This is kind of how I feel about the Power Fantasy. It's such big, grandiose ideas that it's hard to explain, but this is issue 7 from Kieran Gillen and Casper Wingard, and in this issue you get an understanding of what was called the Second Summer of Love. And they visit this second summer of love. And all these characters, all the other characters, are talking about Etienne and Isabella and Magus and everybody else are talking about what to do about this character. And they're trying to, what happens if she goes rogue again, and you get, it looks like happiness right here. But in the end, you find out it wasn't enough. All of this peace and this happiness and this love was not enough for this character. And so now you have possibly a brandishing of evil that is going to come. And again, this is a meta book about heroes who are trying to save the universe, or at least Earth. And the catch is they don't really like each other all that much. But if they fight, then the world ends. And not in a metaphorical sense, but in a literal sense, because they're all so powerful that if one started in on another one openly, then it would just probably destroy the world. So if you like a book that kind of makes your head hurt and you need to read it all by itself, the power fantasy should fit the bill. The book of the week. My God. Sacrificers 15, Rick Remender, Max Famara, Dave McCaig. Rokos comes to the planet, and he's looking for his daughter, and he's not going to take no for an answer. I'm going to blow everything up. I am the sun. I am God. I am everything to you people, and you are so unappreciative. I have given you everything. I've given you life. I've given you growth. I've given you plants. I've given you everything, and you've taken my daughter away from me. The one light in my universe you have snuffed out. That's what he says in this book. This is awesome. This is awesome. Just you get excited reading this book. And at the end, he is finally confronted by the one character, or actually the two characters that might be able to take him down. But this is a god against a god. And this book was absolutely, absolutely amazing. I'm not even gonna lie. Saga do what saga do, folks. That's how this goes. But we are at the 2/3 point of this book. There's only 108 issues total, so it might get finished by the time I'm 65. Now, I jest, but it's a beautiful book. Political intrigue, Hazel. That's all I gotta say. Next to last book was Ultimate X-Men issue 13 by Peach Momoko. She's done 13 straight issues of Ultimate X-Men. Say what you will about her. Who in the hell else does 13 issues of a book straight without taking an issue off? We still have the Shadow King fighting against Dark Armor and her friends. And you get the story of Hisako trying to figure out why the Shadow King is attacking her. And there was a revelation in the last issue that the Shadow King tried to bring forth to Hisako. And it pretty much broke Dark Armor out from Armor. So, manga influenced, excellent title. Just so glad to have this breath of fresh air in the Ultimate Universe. And I can't wait to see where Peach Momoko goes from here. And then the last book was The Walking Dead issue 109. We have Maggie Morning Glenn, and she meets a character named Brianna who talks to her about her own losses and how she moved past them. Then you have Maggie getting checked out by the doctor. You have Rick pretty much gaining support as best he can for all of these characters to go against Negan. He says Negan must be stopped. He's got King Ezekiel on his side. He's got Jesus on his side, the character, not Jesus. He's got, they're trying to get the Hilltop to come on board. So we're ramping up in this issue for what ended up being all-out war, which I want to say was a 12-part story from issue 116 to No, I'm sorry. I think it was a 10-part story. So I think it was from like 112 to 125. So that is the stack, folks. That is what I read. What did you guys pick up at the shop this week? Have you tried Ultimate X-Men? It's really something different. It's really something to behold. Have you tried Saga? Because Saga do what Saga do. You can pick up a compendium for the first 54 issues and then pick up the individual issues, or you can just wait, like I said, till about the time I'm 65, which will be about 23 years, for Compendium 2. That's just ridiculous fun. That's just ridiculously meta thought and large in scale, so much that it makes my head hurt. If you like 80s properties like G.I. Joe and Transformers, get in on this book. You're still early. There's still one more issue before the trade hits. So go ahead and find the first 4 issues and pick this one up this week. You will not be disappointed. Incoming Greatest Hits video. Second incoming Greatest Hits video. Conan, the Blanken Barbarian. Jim Zub and Doug Braithwaite knocked it out of the park. And Maggie stares at a headstone. So that's all I've got for you this week, guys and ladies. Thanks for visiting me again, and we will catch up with you next video. Take care.